After the last video, I was playing some games to unwind and something hit me. Who really designed the first PlayStation controller? And why do all modern controllers seem to follow the same basic design? Looking back at the evolution of game consoles and their controllers, we noticed that the 80s controllers were all about simplicity. Made from durable plastic, these controllers were rectangular, sporting a D-pad on the left and action buttons on the right. And let's not forget the start and select buttons, pivotal for navigating menus and starting games. But don't get me wrong, while the controllers were straightforward, mastering the games they controlled was another story altogether. And as we step into the 90s, innovation blossomed. Companies began adding more buttons and introducing shoulder buttons, evident in consoles like the SNES, Sega Saturn, and the original PlayStation. These shoulder buttons were game changers, literally. They allowed players to execute secondary actions like aiming or activating special abilities without ever lifting a thumb from the crucial D-pad or action buttons, and enhancing gameplay depth and immersion.
ゲーム業界全体が革新の方向に向かって進化しています。テクノロジーの進歩や新たなアイデアによってゲーム体験は以前とは異なるものになりつつあります。情熱と創造性に満ちた未来が私たちを待っています。
Fast forward to the 2000s, an era I remember well. While most controllers had standardized designs, except for Nintendo's creations, always marching to the beat of their own drum. A quick story I got to tell you guys. Back in 2008 or 2009, one of my friends had a Wii, which we played not just for fun, but because it was seen as a healthy choice in gaming. Or at least that's why I think his parents bought that for him. Moving your arms around while playing the Wii Sports was different and supposedly healthier than traditional gaming. I mean, I'm not a doctor, so take this with a grain of salt, but this notion wasn't unique to Nintendo. Remember the Kinect? My dad was so intrigued by it that he bought an Xbox 360 bundle with one just to see what it can do. Interestingly, when I first picked up the Xbox 360 controller, it felt surprisingly similar despite my history with PlayStation. This universality speaks volumes about how controller design has evolved, yet remained consistent where it counts. This brings us to the genius of Teiyu Goto, the mastermind behind the PlayStation controllers. Born in Kyoto in 1953 and educated at Kanzawa College of Art majoring in industrial design, Goto-san revolutionized how we interact with games. His groundbreaking design for the PlayStation controller, replacing the traditional letters with iconic symbols, known today as triangle, circle, X, and square, made the controller universally accessible. Yet, introducing something as simple as handles on the PlayStation controller was a bold move that faced resistance. Sony had a reputation to uphold, and they initially favored a more conservative approach. But thanks to the support from Goto-san's ergonomic and modern designs prevailed, setting a new standard for the industry. As we've seen, the evolution of game controllers is a tale of innovation, user experience enhancements, and sometimes a bit of healthy gaming. And as they say, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. But thanks to pioneers like Teiyu Goto, sometimes a little fixing changes everything. Goto-san's innovative approach to the PlayStation controller not only changed how Sony approached hardware design, but also had a ripple effect across the entire gaming industry. Focusing on ergonomic comfort and intuitive user interface with its iconic symbols set a new standard that other companies began to follow. Microsoft, for example, adapted their Xbox controllers by also prioritizing ergonomic design, but introduced their own unique elements such as an asymmetrical placement for the analog sticks, which catered to the natural thumb position for many players. This feature has become a hallmark of Xbox controllers and shows how Goto-san's emphasis on comfort influenced other brands to innovate in their ergonomic design features. Nintendo, always known for its willingness to experiment, also embraced aspects of this philosophy, but it took it in a different direction with each console generation. With the Wii, Nintendo moved away from the traditional controller design altogether and introduced motion controls, which changed the interaction between the game and the player, pushing the boundaries of what a game controller could do. This was a direct response to the changing landscape of controller design, where user engagement and physical interaction were becoming more important. The impact of these changes was profound, leading to convergence in some aspects of controller design across different platforms, with a clear focus on improving the tactile experience and accessibility of controllers. As a result, modern controllers, while varying in layout and specific features, share a common lineage that traces back to Goto-san's original design. They balance advanced features with the need to be immediately understandable to new users, a principle that has become increasingly important as video games have entered mainstream culture. Looking ahead, the legacy of Goto-san's design and the philosophy continues to influence how companies think about game interaction and user interface. As a virtual and augmented reality technology become more prevalent, the principles of intuitive designs and ergonomic comfort are guiding new types of controllers and input devices. These future developments will continue to build on the foundation laid by Goto-san, proving that good design not only lasts, but also leads the way forward in technology. And of course, going off script, personally never knew anything about Teiyu Goto. I never knew who even designed the first PlayStation, PS2, or even PS3, let alone their controllers. And it was really hard to find information on him. There wasn't a lot of publicly available information about him as a person. Most of the articles just covered how he was the founding father when it came to the designs of the PS1 and the PS2 and the PS3 and their controllers and a few other products for Sony. But yeah, that's it from me. Take it easy, everyone.